Room 6, the room I had first entered, now glowed with faint light. The key in my hand burned hot, pulling me toward it. My instincts screamed to run, but my legs carried me forward. The whispers merged into a single chant. It's time. Inside room 6, the bed was gone. In its place, a massive locked trunk sat on the floor. The key vibrated in my hand, begging to be used. I forced it into the lock, heart pounding. With a heavy click, the trunk creaked open, releasing a gust of cold air. What I saw inside was not clothes or bones. It was a mirror. Taller than me, framed in rusted iron. My reflection stared back, but it was wrong. The other me smiled. Slowly, it raised a hand and beckoned me forward, lips mouthing words I couldn't hear. Behind me, the door slammed shut. I dropped the recorder and spun around. In the shadows, I thought I saw movement, something tall, hunched, its limbs bent at wrong angles. My light flickered, catching only glimpses, long fingers scraping the floor, eyes glinting like wet glass. I backed away, breath ragged. The figure didn't follow, it just watched. Then the room changed. The walls pulsed as if alive, the chains clinking in rhythm with my heartbeat. Somewhere in the dark, a woman screamed, the sound stretching until it broke into static. The static poured from my ears, my chest, even the floor beneath me. I covered my head, but the sound was inside me. Then, silence. I opened my eyes, and the figure was gone. Only the chair remained, except now, a key rested on it. Rusted, covered in grime. I grabbed it, not knowing why. The basement walls began to close in, the ceiling dropping lower. I bolted up the stairs, clutching the key, desperate to reach the hallway. The doors upstairs were still open, whispers louder than Eve. The knob turned with a groan, though I hadn't twisted it. The black door creaked open, revealing a staircase descending underground. A foul draft blew upward, carrying the stench of damp earth and something metallic. Blood, maybe. Against my will, I stepped down, each board moaning under my weight. The air grew colder the deeper I went. The storm outside was gone, replaced by an endless dripping sound echoing in the dark. My phone's flashlight flickered, struggling to stay alive. On the walls, I saw scratches, words carved in haste. Don't look at her. At the bottom, the staircase opened into a vast basement hall. Rusted bed frames lined the walls, chains dangling from the ceiling. In the center stood a single chair. Upon it, a tape recorder. The button clicked on by itself, and a child's voice whispered, "He's still here." The lights flickered, then cut out completely. In the pitch black, I heard breathing. Slow, heavy, just inches away from me. My chest tightened. I reached blindly for the door, fingers brushing the frame. That's when the breathing stopped, and a cold hand grabbed my wrist. I yanked free and bolted into the hallway. Every door on the hall was wide open now, each room glowing faintly with different colors. Blue, red, yellow, like a twisted carnival. Voices spilled out, overlapping whispers, laughter, cries. The hallway stretched longer with every step I took. At the end of the hall, a single door stood closed, unlike the rest, painted black, with deep scratches across it. The voices fell silent the moment I looked at it. I knew. Whatever waited inside was the reason I was here. My hand reached for the knob on its own, as though something unseen was guiding me. I stepped into the hallway. It was darker than before, the lights buzzing overhead. The carpet squished under my feet as if soaked in water. Room 7's door stood slightly open, a faint light flickering inside, and then humming, a woman's lullaby. I pushed the door open. The room was empty at first. Then, in the corner, I saw a rocking chair. It swayed slowly back and forth, though no one sat in it. The lullaby grew louder, echoing from the walls themselves. The mirror above the dresser glowed faintly. I forced myself to look. A reflection of a woman appeared. Long, dark hair, pale face, empty eyes. She wasn't in the room, only in the glass. Her lips moved, but the words came from behind me. Don't leave. I spun around. Nothing. When I turned back, the mirror was cracked, splintering from the center. Blood seeped from the cracks, dripping onto the dresser below. I stumbled back, nearly tripping over the rocking chair, which had stopped moving. My hand shook as I set the phone back on the cradle. The silence after the call was worse than the storm. I pressed my ear to the door. Nothing. But when I turned around, the bed was no longer made. Sheets tangled, pillows torn, as if someone had been thrashing in it only seconds ago. I backed into the corner, whispering to myself that it wasn't real. That's when I noticed water dripping from the ceiling. Not just water, thick black drops falling onto the carpet, spreading into shapes that looked like handprints. The smell of rot filled the air. The phone rang again. This time, I didn't touch it, but the voice still came through, loud and broken. Room 7, she's waiting. My stomach twisted. I didn't want to open the door, but suddenly the lock clicked on its own, unlocking itself. The whispers turned into laughter, faint but rising. The door slammed shut behind me. I rushed toward it, pulling, but it was locked tight. The mirror by the dresser fogged up, though the air was freezing. Words appeared in shaky handwriting. "Welcome back." Thunder roared as the room grew darker, the shadows stretching across the walls. I grabbed the key and tried to force the lock open, but instead, the key bent in my hand like soft wax. The laughter outside grew closer, like footsteps down the hall. Suddenly, silence. The storm outside stopped completely. I held my breath. Then the phone on the nightstand rang. An old rotary phone I hadn't noticed before. Against my better judgment, I answered. A deep, distorted voice spoke one word: "Run." The hallway stretched longer than it should have. Carpets were soaked, leaving wet prints behind me. As I reached room 6, the whisper started, faint, like voices behind thin walls. When I unlocked the door, the room was empty. Just a bed, a lamp, and wallpaper peeling from damp wood. I tried the lamp. It flickered, then dimmed, casting shadows that didn't match the furniture. The storm outside grew heavier, thunder shaking the glass. And then a soft knock on the wall behind the bed. 3 times, deliberate. I froze, listening. The knock came again, louder. I pressed my ear to the wall and heard something that turned my blood to ice. A woman's voice, whispering my name. I stumbled back. My suitcase slid from the bed and landed open on the floor. Inside, something new lay among my clothes. An old photograph. A man standing in front of the Silver Pines Motel, with me standing right beside him. Except I had never been here before. The rain hammered against the windshield, as I drove down the empty highway. Midnight was long past, and the storm had swallowed every sound except the wipers. That's when I saw the sign, flickering in the rain. Silver Pines Motel. Vacancy. The parking lot was empty. The building looked abandoned, yet the neon light buzzed faintly. I pulled in, engine rumbling. The motel office was dark, but the door creaked open when I pushed. Inside, the air smelled of mildew and dust. On the counter, a bell sat waiting. Out of habit, I rang it. The sound echoed far too long, as if the walls themselves carried the chime into hidden rooms. A key slid from behind the counter, as if pushed by an unseen hand. It was old, brass, with a faded tag that read Room 6. My chest tightened. I should have left, but the storm outside was unforgiving. I told myself I'd just stay until the rain passed.